So, before anyone starts saying anything in the comments, no, this title is not clickbait, which really is getting a reboot. Now, fair enough, by the time this video goes up, this is probably already known to you because this information has been spreading like wildfire and it would come out on like the busiest week I've had all year. And I haven't had time to record anything about it, but I'm doing it now. Apologies in advance for my voice. I've got a very croaky throat. I was at a wedding last night and spent the whole evening yelling over the music, so I have like no voice left. But I really wanted to talk about this huge news in the witch world, which is that the Witch comic is getting a reboot in Italy. So this is massive news because like we never get new content in Witch these days. And this has basically come out of nowhere. Like there was no like sense on the horizon that this was coming. It just sort of appeared in a magazine in Italy and now everyone is losing their minds as they should be because this is massive news. Um and it is real. I think that's an important thing to say. Obviously, so many times over the years in the witch fandom, we've had nonsense on the internet. Like, I've been in this fandom since what, 2005? So, like, I was there when there was a rumour that there was a live action movie and Blake Lively was going to play Cornelia. I was there when there was a rumour that Disney were going to release a bunch of comic books where Witch team up with the Avengers. Like, I've seen every nonsense rumour over the years in this fandom, but this one is actually real because you can pre-order the comic on Amazon, so it is confirmed that this reboot is happening. And I just thought it was a good idea to talk about what we know so far. So let's get into it. So this information first came to me in the form of this Tumblr post. This is where I first found out about this reboot. And this person, whose name is Golf Wolf, has posted, okay, here's the drill. Earlier I saw this post that has this image in it. So quickly, let's have a look at this post. It's this post here from Patimi PK, or Patemi PK. And it is a post with a picture from an Italian magazine that has an advert for this Witch Il Nuovo Inizio graphic novel. So this post, they've used Google Translate, and obviously Google Translate is not always perfect, so take what this says with a little bit of a grain of salt, but it's probably a fairly accurate interpretation of what this advert says. So it says, Witch, the Heart of Friendship is a new manga-style graphic novel presented as a reboot of the famous original comic series. In this modern-day adaptation, the group of friends, Will, Irma, Tarani, Cornelia, and Helen, battle a mysterious threat from another world. The girls will discover that only together can they save the day because magic is most powerful when shared. 20 years later, here's the new version of The Witches, which remakes a story based on the original comic series but in the form of a graphic novel. This is a completely new story, a modern adaptation for today's female readers. Protagonists reflect the expectations of young contemporary readers. They are today's girls who live their daily lives in a modern world in step with our times. Daily life, fashion, technology, and society are inspired by reality, allowing for greater empathy between readers and protagonists. A fantastic reboot that will allow young readers to discover and fall in love with this new magical version and will bring back the history fans to the magic. So bring the historical fans to the memory of their magic. So it says the image comes from a Facebook post which mentions this was printed in an Italian magazine called Anteprima. And I have seen this. It is definitely. And it says the magazine is actually posted online officially here. The problem is that the PDF version cuts out at page 140, and the image is apparently printed in page 163 in a section dedicated to upcoming releases, which is missing in the online version. It seems from what I can understand that it works more as a checklist, so it makes sense to cut out that part. So if you're Italian, please, if you can and have access to the print version of Anteprima, can you confirm or deny this? I mean, the book is already in pre-sale in several European Amazon pages published by Disney Libre, so I doubt it's fake, but I don't know if this is how the whole thing is going to work out in the end. See, and you can see here that they've posted a picture of it being listed on Amazon Spain, Amazon France, and Amazon Italy. So, that in itself makes it seem pretty real. But someone did actually manage to track down proof of this. So, Cedric's not dead. This person here says, I saw now this and checked. I do not have access to the paper version, but in this video at 29:07, they flipped through the magazine quickly and you can see it's really there on the bottom right. I checked all other Italian sources I know, but I did not find any further information. Perhaps now that Panini announced it, they will market it a little more. And sure enough, if we just take a wee look, if we scroll through to 29:07, you can see these are like adverts for like upcoming releases, and right here in this corner, that stupid thing's in the way, you can see this is the very picture. So like up here, you can see, oh, it wasn't, it was this one here. You can see there's like this picture here of like this blue Disney book on page 163 next to the witch novel, and if you flip back here and look at the page, you can see that that is what this picture is taken from. You can see the blue book here, and you can see which. So it is like confirmed that this is real. It's printed in this Anteprima magazine. It is an upcoming release. It's just really odd that this is the way we all found out about it. The fact that there's been like no marketing for it. There is a Facebook post on Anteprima's Facebook, but like we all kind of found this information by accident, and like it's spreading like wildfire through the witch like community online now. But the fact that none of us found this out from like more prominent marketing is a bit of a shame, but hopefully, as this person said, now that it's announced, maybe it's going to get some more marketing because it's huge news that doesn't seem to have like been given a huge fanfare. But if we go over here, I have the Amazon Italy listing up, so I should be able to translate this into English. I don't speak Italian at all. I know like 10 words of Italian from playing Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, but I don't imagine that the this comic is going to say like Vittoria Agli Assassini at any point. So my my ability to read it is not going to be particularly good. But anyway, we can see here, this one, it says Witch the New Beginning, which makes sense. So if we go here, obviously this article says um Witch the Heart of Friendship. Now, using my base knowledge of Italian, I would say like over here underneath, actually this is a good time to get this up. So there is a slightly higher quality version of this picture. Here we go. So it says like, Disney Witch, un nuovo inizio. And I know from my base knowledge of Italian that un is the, nuovo is new. So the new beginning. So that might be like the series name, like the overall like series name, and then this down here is our title. Il cuore della amicizia? My Italian is bad. But I would imagine that says the heart of friendship. Um, amica, like friend, il is the, so Del, I'm pretty sure is of. So yes, that would be the Heart of Friendship. So that's the title of the first issue, and I would imagine this is like the series title. But yeah, if we go over here, we can see Witch the New Beginning graphic novel paperback coming out October 4th, 2023. So it's coming out in less than 3 months, which is huge news. They don't have a picture here yet, but you can pre-order it for €9.40. Apparently, recommended price is $9.90, so you're saving 50 cents. Good for you. It's estimated delivery between the 16th and the 19th of October. Um, so let's have a look. Right here. So this is some like basic information that we've got here. So reading age 6 and up, which may sound like really young to you, but actually if you go and look up like the other witch graphic novels, they've got a reading age of 7 and up, so it's not actually any different. And reading age doesn't mean like content, it just means like the actual like words. So I don't think we should imagine that just because it says age 6 and up that like it's going to be for like little kids, because the other witch novels are also aged around the same age, and they're not for little kids. So print length is 128 pages, which is a pretty decent length overall. Can't argue with that. As we see here, it's in Italian. We can see the dimensions of the book, published by Disney Books, release date October 4th, and then we've got the ISBN. And if we scroll down here, we can see again some more info. Yeah, so at present, we don't really have a lot of information to go on. Basically, we have this one description here. So if we take a little look and just kind of talk about what we think this means, obviously it says um, that it is a modern day adaptation, that it is a remake and a completely new story. So we can say for certain that this is not going to be canon to the original 11 arcs. This is a brand new thing. This is a full reboot, a full continuity reboot rather than like a revival. And it's going to be a new story. So it's going to be something we haven't seen before. And it also says that the protagonists reflect the expectations of young contemporary readers, today's girls who live their daily lives in a modern world instead with our times. So basically, they're saying that they've updated the like the characters and the just the society that exists in the comics to reflect modern day life. And I have seen a few people be a bit concerned about that because um there's a lot of things about modern day life that people don't like at the moment. Like, there's elements of society that we don't love. But I mean, I think that only makes sense, really. I can't really imagine why, like, the original series was out in 2001 and it was reflective of 2001, like the fact that in the very first issue, like Tarani is shocked that Will has her own cell phone, like because in 2001 it was rare for people to have cell phones. But I mean, come on, it's, 2023 now, you can't, it just wouldn't make sense to do that. I mean, all the girls had cell phones in the TV show because even by then, in 2004, we had progressed so much as a society that it would be strange for teenage girls to not have their own mobiles. So I think this makes perfect sense. I think the fear that people have is that it's going to end up with like Cornelia is going to be like a fashion YouTuber or like a beauty YouTuber, and like Irma's going to have like a TikTok dance account. Like, I don't know, and it's going to be we aren't going to find out until it comes out. But I think this does make sense, and to be honest, I am interested to see what um the girls look like, what their lives look like in a modern day world. I think that'll be interesting. Um, we also, as I say, we have this image, and this is basically all we have so far in terms of artwork. And I would take this as well with a grain of salt because we do know that sometimes, especially in which, especially in the later arcs, the cover art wasn't always like completely reflective of what the actual art inside the comic looked like. uh it could be a bit off model, and sometimes the girls had like the complete wrong outfits because for some reason whoever made the cover art just didn't make it accurately. So there is obviously a chance that this is exactly how they look in the comic, but there's also a chance that it's not, and it's like stylized for the cover. But let's take a look at what we do have here. So obviously this is Will. We can see her hair is looking far more like orange rather than her like fire truck red, like a more realistic like ginger. Your mileage may vary on whether that's a good thing. She has blue eyes and very pale skin, which I've seen some people take issue with, and I can understand why. It's long been considered like fanon that Will is not completely white, that she's some people think she's Italian, some people think she's Middle Eastern or Indian, or at least that her mother is not white, her father's white, but her mother's not, so she's like mixed race, or at least she's not like pale white, that she's got some other kind of ethnicity in there. So the fact that she's now like pale skinned with blue eyes, I have seen some people take umbrage with. But again, we don't know if this is final artwork. This could be like, the Amazon listing doesn't even have this picture on the website, so there is always the chance that this is not finalized artwork. What she's wearing though seems to be a cardigan outfit. Again, grain of salt, because it could just be for the cover. But if it is the Guardian outfit, we should take a look at what that is. So it is kind of similar to what she had in that it's got long sleeves that come right up over her hands, which was always the case. She's got a kind of short skirt, which again was the case. and of course leggings. But um, she seems to have like tights with like a kind of pattern on them. Again, obviously the tights were stripy, but these are like slightly different. And she seems to have bare feet, which is a choice, I suppose. Um, and it's much darker in color. Obviously, the original outfits were purple and like bright green. Um, like, well, purple and like blue and bright green. In terms of like their leggings had bright green stripes, and their up this bit was like kind of a deep teal and like purple or pink in the TV show, whereas this is like a pale or a lighter purple, but like a navy or like a very deep royal blue kind of look. Again, obviously this is a really, really bad image, it's not very good, but it does seem to be more of a kind of deeper blue color. So a much darker look than the girls had in the original comics, and her wings are obviously completely different. Now, I've seen people talk about this because in the very, very original concept for Witch, created by like Elizabeth, Alessandro, and Barbara, they did actually have each girl have their own set of wings, and like one of them was a dragonfly. Like Helen had bat wings. They were all based on animals, so there is a chance that that's what these are. That these are dragonfly wings, and that they're going to bring back that concept. But because we haven't seen what the other girls look like, it's hard to say. I personally am not feeling the wings. I'm not really feeling the outfit in general, if I'm honest. I think it's just because it doesn't really look very fantasy to me. Like, it just kind of looks like something I would wear to lounge about the house or go to the gym. And I feel like I don't really want my like superpowered magical girls to be wearing like fabletics. But you know, again, we have to take it with a pinch of salt. Over here, we also have the rest of the Guardians. That's quite clearly as Cornelia. I do quite like what she's wearing. It's very typical Cornelia. She's got like a deep kind of maroon jumper and a long skirt. That's stereotypical Cornelia. She's got her long hair. Nothing really to complain about here. Irma is something. Her skin looks considerably darker, which is a good thing because again, Irma in the TV show was like kind of changed to be Latina. We all kind not confirmed, but like her and her mother were both played by Candy Milo, who is Latina, and she had like a bit of a Latina accent, and so did Chris. Chris had quite a strong kind of Hispanic accent, so I think we all kind of agreed that from then on that Irma is Hispanic or Latina, and she does seem to have darker skin here. Unless those are tights, but her face looks darker than both Cornelia and Will, so that's kind of suggesting that they might have decided to go with that and make her Hispanic in the series, which would be good. Tarani is wearing kind of like gym wear, which makes sense because she was a dancer in the comics. She's still got her short hair, she's still got her glasses, so she looks pretty good. Helen is an interesting one. She does sort of look like she's wearing a wedding dress, and I'm not quite sure what's going on with her hair. Her hair looks short unless she's got like pigtails and they're down her back and we just can't see them. But if they've made Helen's hair short instead of her classic pigtails, I am going to be very, very sad because the pigtails are iconic and I don't really want to give them up. But I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I think that's probably like not a kimono, the Chinese equivalent of a kimono. Um the word escapes me, but you know, I think it's supposed to be a traditional Chinese dress. But it in this picture it does sort of look like she's wearing a wedding gown, but you know. And this here, we don't know for certain, but it's kind of assumed that this must be Elion. But to be fair, we don't know. She's got obviously the pale white hair, which would make sense for Elion, but she could be a new character. We don't know for certain. She seems to be wearing kind of like, I don't know, combat boots and like khaki and like an orange top. So I don't know. But yeah, that could be Elion or it could be someone else entirely. We don't really know yet. And then obviously here we have the Heart of Kandrakar. We zoom in, we can see that there that we have the Heart of Kandrakar. So yeah, this is basically all we have so far when it comes to this Witch reboot. Um so how do I feel about it is the question. Honestly, I don't really know how I feel at this point. I think I'm looking forward to it. I would really like to buy it. Obviously, right now it's only available for pre-order on Disney on Amazon, Italy, France, and Spain. And thanks to the slight majority of my country that decided to vote for Brexit, it's now really difficult to import stuff from the continent because you get charged like £200 in customs fees. So whether or not I'm actually going to be able to buy a copy of this is the question. I would really like to buy a copy. I'm not sure if it's coming out in more than one language. Obviously it says it's written in Italian, but if it's coming out on French and Spanish Amazon, it might be getting French and Spanish translations, in which case I would probably be best getting it in French because I do have a base level of French from school. I can read French fairly well, not fluent by any stretch of the imagination, but I did get an A in my exam, so I can read French to an extent. So if I could get a copy of it in French, that would probably be the best thing for me. But again, I'm gonna have to try and figure out if there's a way to get it to the UK without having to pay the extortionate Brexit customs fees. But yeah, I'm not sure how I feel at the moment. It was not news that I was prepared for in any way. I really was not expecting a reboot of the comics. But I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued. I'm obviously more of a show fan than a comic fan, and if they decided to reboot the TV show, I think I would have much more of a harsh reaction, because I've said for years that if they were ever going to put money into making more animated Witch, I just want them to funnel that money into giving me the season 3 that I always wanted. Whereas with the comics, I'm less concerned, especially because the comics did have a proper ending. The difference with the TV show is that it didn't really get an ending, it's just sort of stopped. Whereas the comics went on for 11 arcs and got a proper ending. And so I'm kind of less bothered about them getting a reboot, because they had their time, they had their full story, and I suppose now it's time to give them a new lease of life. What do I think that's going to look like though? I don't know. Like, it's hard to say what that's going to look like. And it's hard to even say what I want it to look like. I think that's the thing. I've been debating with myself, like, what do I want it to look like? And I actually don't know, because I suppose it all depends on how much they are deciding to reboot, how much they're deciding to change. You know, like, it's a completely new story, but are we keeping the same villains? Is it going to be a new story but Phobos is involved? You know, are we still going to have the same relationships? Is there still going to be Matt? Is there still going to be Caleb? You know, if that is Eliana in the picture, is she still involved? Is she still from Meridian? Is she still the queen, the heir to the Meridian throne? Are they going to do that storyline again? You know, is it going to remake old storylines but like change them? Or it says it's a completely new story, but how completely new are we talking? Like, what elements are we keeping? Because if that is Elion in the cover, then that suggests that that plotline would be staying, but one, it might not be, and two, I suppose she could just be their friend from school. Although if she's making it all the way onto the cover, you'd think she'd have some significance to the storyline. But I don't know, that's what I'm really intrigued about. You know, what are they going to include and what are they not going to include? What is going to get brought back and what's going to get dropped? Are they going to bring back Caleb and turn him into the one from the TV show? You know, like, there are so many things that could happen here. Like, everyone hates comic Caleb. He sucks. Like, if I opened up these comics and discovered that Caleb was alive, like, he exists in this world, and he was the one from the TV show, I think I would cry. I think I would actually cry. I don't expect that to happen, but it's just fun to theorize about what we might get in this upcoming reboot. And I'm intrigued, and I'm actually really kind of excited, nervous but excited, just to kind of see what it's going to be. And I really want to get it, because, like, regardless of whether or not I can read the words, it's a graphic novel, so I can always look at the pictures, and I'm just really excited to see what this is. And, you know, at the end of the day, if it brings more fans to Witch, I don't know if it will or it won't, but if it brings a new generation to Witch, that's probably a good thing, you know? It's hard to say, because, you know, if you know me, you know that I was really, really offended when they rebooted Charmed, because that's my favourite TV show, and they rebooted it, and I didn't want them to, because I didn't want them to cheapen what had already been made. And I don't want to have that thing where someone's like, oh, I love Charmed, and then I discover that they're talking about a completely different TV show for me, you know what I mean? And I suppose that's the problem whenever you have a reboot, is that then do you have a bunch of people discovering the new series, and then we're going to have a fan war between the OG fans and the new fans, and you know, is there going to be people that are like, oh, the original Witch sucked, like I only like the reboot, and then we're going to end up with a fan war. And like, I don't want that. But on the other hand, maybe it will bring people in, and then they're going to enjoy, they're going to read this, they're going to like it, they're going to want to read the old series, and maybe we have a whole new generation of Witch fans, and we see like an actual, like, you know, revival, a rejuvenation of this fandom that has been slowly creeping back over the years. I have to say, like, when I joined Tumblr back in 2010, you know, there was like a new witch post every like month, and it was usually me. um Whereas now, like, there are so many witch fans on Tumblr, and then like I think the fandom has grown over the years, and so I would like to see it grow more. And I think overall, I think this is a good thing. There is always the thing that if the new reboot becomes popular, is that going to kill all hope of me ever getting season 3? Yeah, probably, but honestly, I think I'd accepted that in like 2008, honestly. I know I'm never going to get season 3, I just live in hope. But yeah, no, I mean, it's the first new witch content we've had in a long time, in more than 10 years. So I'm cautiously optimistic, and I'm excited to see what it is. And if we get more information between now and the 4th of October, I will bring it to you. And if I do manage to get a copy of the book and read it, then I will come back to you with my thoughts. I will do a little review for you all. But yeah, as always, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. This was a very surprise Witch Wednesday for me to make. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye everyone.